science has shown that the amount of information we could take in is very, very small versus, what is actually happening in the world around us. So for instance, when I walk through the park, there's so much stuff going on actually. The insects walking on the ground, the thousands and thousands of leaves that are rustling in the wind, the people walking by, the air, the sky, the cars on the street. There is just too much information for me to take in altogether. So what does that mean? That means that our brains fill in 90%, maybe even 99% of the world around us. But how does it do that? That's based on our subconscious programming. It's based on our energy and our concept of truths. Because our concept of truths create these patterns, create the reality around us that gets filled in. So imagine this. If you're constantly filling up your mind with negative energy, and really what you see in the world around you, you can only take in a small fraction of that. What happens to the rest of the world around you? It's going to be negative. But the same is with positive energy, right? The cliche saying, the glass is half empty or half full. I mean, it's truly that. Because if our subconscious programming is filling in the gaps with these truths, and what I mean by truths is our beliefs that don't have the negative energy of uncertainty around it. When you have enough repetition, when you have enough programming, things become a certainty in our mind, even if it's not true. And it fills in those gaps. So the scary thing is that you're being reprogrammed all the time, which means that reality is being dictated by the world around you, not by you. But the great thing is, if it can be reprogrammed, that means you can reprogram it. You can reprogram it into the life that you want to live. But you need to understand the concept of truths. What is true and what is not? And there's a lot of our world basically is always in conflict because of the difference between somebody's truth and another group's truth, my truth, because it's different. But in reality, what is a truth? Thousands of years ago, everyone thought the world was flat. But because of that, and it was mass acceptation, the world was flat. And we accepted that. But then we found out, the world is circular. It's a sphere. It's not flat. So does that make, in the past, that thought less of a truth? No, because everyone thought it at the time. And now we understand the real truth, as so we think. The real truth is that the world is round. So now when I think of the concept of Earth and I visualize it's always round, that's my reality. But guess what? What if one day scientists say, you know what? The Earth is not circular, it's actually oval. And funny thing is, I just use that as a concept, but I actually looked it up and it is actually oval. Does that mean that everyone who thinks the Earth was round, that's less of a truth at the time? No, it doesn't matter. The idea is we may not know anything. We may not have the right information about everything. We may be living in a simulation. None of this is real. But the one thing we do need to realize is that it's a truth in our mind. It's in our subconscious. It's programmed without the negative energy of doubt or indecisiveness or uncertainty. And once that happens, it becomes our reality. It becomes the ingredients that fill in that 99% of the patterns around us. It creates the world around us. So with that power, wouldn't you want to live in a world where you can control that other 90%? That 90% could be an amazing world, or it could be the most devastating world, depending on how you fill in those gaps with your programming.